What's poppin'? So today I'm going to be showing you how to make popcorn at home. And when I was thinking of this, there's a lot of different ways you can make popcorn at home, and I was kind of weighing the pros and cons of each, and then I just thought, why don't I show you all three? So today we're talking 3 ways to make popcorn at home, and first off, we are starting with the stovetop. So the first thing you're going to do if you're making stovetop popcorn is you're going to add in your oil. We're going to be using coconut oil because it's a great oil for making popcorn because it can handle the high heat. And if you hear any banging or jingling, don't worry, that's just the kitties playing in the hallway. Okay, so we're going to put this sucker in the pot. Oh, that actually worked better than I thought it would. Okay, so you're going to put the coconut oil in there, and then you're just going to want to put your heat on like medium heat, and we're going to let that melt down a little bit. So once your coconut oil is melted, and this is 3 tablespoons of coconut oil, but don't worry because I will have all of the measurements in my blog post that goes along with this, so you can see all that linked in the description, and you're also getting some great kitty background noise, so you're welcome for that one. Once you've got the coconut oil melted, you're just going to take 3 popcorn kernels and put them in the oil. And basically, these are kind of like your testers, okay? And they are there to tell you when the oil is hot enough. So we're gonna wait for these guys to pop, and then once they have popped, we know that the oil is at the temperature that we want to go ahead and add the rest of our popcorn. Okay, so once your testers pop, you're gonna take all your other kernels, toss them in, put on the lid, give it a little shake to coat the kernels, and then we're going to remove it from the heat, okay? And so what we're doing right here is bringing those other kernels up to the temperature with the oil, so when we put it back on the heat, they'll all pop at relatively the same time. So you're just going to wait here for about 30 seconds or so you can count. If you have kids, it can be like a fun little countdown game. Some are already starting to pop, just being in the pot. Okay, I think we're good on time. Now we're going to place this boy back on the heat. I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and you can just give it a little bit of a vent there so that they don't steam, and just shake occasionally. And if you want to come on in and get a shot of this popping, see, there they go, popping away. Wow. It's basically just like when you make popcorn in the microwave. You want to just keep waiting until you hear the popping die down, and there's like a couple seconds between the pops, then you know that it's done and you can remove it from the heat. I think we're almost there. Okay, I think we're done. So we're going to take this bad boy off the heat, turn the heat off, and now we can dump it into our bowl. So I gotta figure out my arrangement of space here, but I'm gonna take off the lid. Woo! I'm gonna burn the house down. Alright. Do a little shimmy shake. Everybody came out. Oh, we got a few stragglers. Okay, there we go. All done. And we don't have any leftover kernels, so that's awesome too. Okay, so now we're moving on to our second method, and that's using an air popper. And with the stovetop method, there's some pros and cons to every method. With the stovetop method, you don't really have to buy any special equipment, but you do dirty up a pot, you have to wash and all of that. And it takes up spot on your range, I guess, if you're doing other things. With the air popper, it is a specialty equipment item. So it's something that really only serves its purpose. So that can kind of be a detraction from that, but they are pretty cheap and fairly easy to come by online. So the way the air popper works, there's lots of different models, but basically you just put your popcorn kernels down in here. And then mine doesn't actually have an on switch. You just plug it in and it comes on, which I find slightly terrifying. But I'm just going to try to plug it in back here as gracefully as possible. And then you just let it go. And see, this one is kind of loud too, which can also be a little annoying. But basically it just runs and runs and runs, and the popcorn is going to start to come out of this nozzle right here as it pops up out of the top. pros to this method is it is a little bit more kid-friendly because you're not dealing with like hot oil and the range and all of that stuff. But it can start to fly everywhere, especially at the end when it starts to get kind of loose and things. There isn't a lot of popcorn left. They kind of start to shoot all over the kitchen. So that can be a little bit of a detraction on this one. And like I said before, you do have to have the special appliance to use this method, but still, it gives you some great popcorn. And now we're on to our third and final method, which is probably the one that most of you are more familiar with, and that is the microwave. So you can make microwave popcorn at home without having to buy the prepackaged stuff that has all kinds of weird flavorings and chemicals and preservatives and just in general nasty junk in there. And it's really easy. So basically all you're gonna need are some paper lunch bags, and these are really easy to find. So you just open this little bad boy up. And you're just going to pour in your kernels here, dump them in there, and then you're going to want to take this bag and just fold it down 3 or 4 times. This is just so it stays closed in the microwave. And you don't need like any like staple or tape or anything like that. Don't do any of that. It'll stay closed on its own. You just want to make sure, you give it a nice crease, a nice fold, and it'll stay closed. And you want to make sure you have space in there. You don't want to roll it all the way down because the popcorn needs space to expand. So once you've got your kernels in your little bag, you're just going to pop this bad boy in your microwave just like you would your microwave popcorn. Put it in there, and then you can set it on high for around 4 minutes. And now every microwave is different as always, but this is just like making popcorn at home. Set it and then just listen, okay? So once you hear this pop start to get further apart, then you're gonna wanna stop and take it out. So here we go. All right, well, we're starting to get some pops. You can't really see what's going on in there with the camera, so you're just gonna have to believe me on that one. But I do hear it popping. So now it's just the waiting game to see when it starts to slow down. But I mean, this is something that most people have done before and are pretty familiar with, so I don't think you need too much explanation on that one. Revolutionary popcorn technology! Alright, well, we're slowed down, so I'm going to say that's the end of that. Stop. So ours went for about 330, but every microwave is different. And look, it exploded in the microwave. This is real life, people. This isn't make-believe. Just so you know, these things happen. So this lunch size bag, what size is this? Jason, you bought this. Let me see over here. Pull it in from our off stage. This is this size. Whatever.
They were $1.99 for large and $1.29 for those size.
Okay, so this is the smaller one.
You wanted the smallest ones like that.
So this did explode a little bit. Okay, so there's half a cup of popcorn in here, so you can either get bigger bags or half a cup of kernels. So you can either get bigger bags, or you could use less popcorn, or you could do this, which I think is pretty fun, honestly. So that's making popcorn in the Okay, alright guys, look, you just close it and then it's like nothing happened. Okay, so we got our popcorn out of the microwave. You guys, I think, have seen this before. You just dump it in a bowl. Amazing, right? Okay, but I'm going to do a little taste test on this guy, and then I'll let you guys know kind of the difference between the 3 methods, because I think that can be interesting as well. So, okay, so this is what I'll say. I think as far as the worst option, I'm going to go with the microwave. It doesn't taste that great. The kernels are kind of like more dry, I feel like. They're just not as fluffy, and the flavor isn't that great, and it kind of starts to take on that burnt popcorn flavor you get from the microwave, and that's just because things aren't cooking at all at the same time like they are with the other methods. So I think it's just not the best way to cook it, but I mean, it's just like microwave popcorn, it works. Second, I would give to the air popper, okay? The flavor is much better than this, and it is a lot fluffier. But the top prize I would give to the stovetop. The flavor is just much better, and I think some of that has to do with the oil being in there, so it already has some oil in it when you're eating it. And also the fact that everything kind of pops at once. It gets really light and fluffy, and so flavor and texture-wise, I just think it's much better than the others. Now, obviously, you are going to add some flavorings to these if you would like. You know, you can always do that. So the flavor might not be that big of a deal to you if you're gonna add flavorings anyways, but I still think it's important to note that the stovetop definitely makes a much better product. So those are 3 ways to make popcorn at home. Obviously, some of them worked a little bit better than others, but you can pick whichever method that you want to try and which one works best for you and your family. But if you have ever made popcorn at home and you have any experience with it, definitely share it in the comments below. I'm sure everyone would like to hear about your successes and maybe some fails. And if you want to see how to flavor your home popcorn, I am going to be making a video about that. It'll be my next one. So if you want to see that, or you want more real food tips and tricks in general, then definitely make sure to subscribe to my channel. Eating a real foods diet is so important for your health, but it's not always easy, especially if you're just starting out. But I know that if you have the knowledge and the resources and the information that you need, that you can totally make it happen. And that's why I make these videos, because I want to make living a real foods lifestyle as easy for you as possible. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your real foods journey. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, so that whole sealing the back thing didn't exactly work. I was wondering how you're gonna do that. You just fold it over.
So everyone does that.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Maybe fold it a little bit more. Oh, you don't want me to take that?
No, I think it's funny.